Hi, this is Eric Sloov over at ntpro.nl, and in this video I'm going to show you some new features in VMware Data Recovery 2.0. So VMware Data Recovery was launched together with the new version of vSphere version 5, and Data Recovery 2.0 has some new functionality, some new enhancements, and there are some issues fixed, and the latest version was 1.2.1. And there has been some things like not enough disk space, disk full, incremental RDM backup, better CIFS handling. There are also some new features like email reports and some enhancements to the user interface. So let's take a look at this new version of VMware Data Recovery 2.0. So it will be shipped as a virtual appliance based on 64-bit SUSE Linux. And once you have deployed the OVF template, it will be hosted in your vSphere environment just like a normal virtual machine. And the virtual appliance can be supplied with targets where you can place your backups, but you can also configure the appliance with a CIFS share, so you are able to copy the backups to a CIFS share. So let's take a look at this appliance and let's take a look what we can configure within the appliance. There is a possibility to configure the appliance with a URL, so you can use your Internet Explorer and browse to the settings page of the appliance, but you can also do it from the command line. At least you can change the IP address from the command line. So let's go to my virtual machines. I already have VMware Data Recovery running right here. And this VMware Data Recovery virtual appliance is completely configured already. So when I'm going to the appliance and I'm taking over the screen, the MKS screen of the appliance, we will see that we are able to configure networking. So what I did is that I configured networking for the appliance, and I have put in an IP address, a net mask, a gateway, and this is really important. When you are using this virtual appliance, it will try to resolve the host name of your vCenter server through the DNS that is configured in the appliance. So if you don't configure a good DNS, you will not get it up and running, and I'm talking from experience. So once you have provided the email address and everything, you can go to your vCenter server, and I already made a connection with RDP to my vCenter server, and within your vCenter server you have to install the plugin, and the plugin can be found on the ISO that was downloaded from the VMware website. So when you are downloading the data recovery ISO, you will find the complete OVF file right here, and you can use file, deploy OVF template, and then pick up the OVF location, click next, look at the details, click next again, accept the end user agreement before you have completely read it, and then you have to choose a location for the appliance, and you can even roll out multiple appliances. So in this case I'm going to put the appliance on ESX4-L, and I don't use a storage profile. I'm using L within provisioning, and then 2 network cards. The time is also very important. You have to configure the right time, Europe, Amsterdam in my case, and I'm going to finish this one and click on OK. So when you have installed the plugin after deploying the OVF template, then you will see the plugin appear in your vCenter environment, and in this case we have a cool new icon right here, and the icon will bring us to the appliance. You have to register the appliance, but once the appliance is registered you can pick out which virtual machines you want to back up. But you have to configure the VMware Data Recovery virtual appliance. So when you are going to configuration, you will end up in a wizard, and a wizard will ask you what's the administrator password, what are the backup destinations, and the configuration is complete. So you can also provide email details, and in my case, I'm using an internet provider, KPN, and I can configure an SMTP server. I don't have to configure a username. I can configure a from address and a to address, and I can put in the time I want to be notified about the backup jobs. And I just did a test and it works fine. You can configure the time, you can see the log files, you can also check out which backups were running, and you can see the configuration of your backup appliance and the version number and the status. So the reports are showing which virtual machines are already backuped, and if the backup went successful, we have a backup part where we can create new backup jobs, and once you have created a new backup job, you can pick one of your virtual machines, the Vanatronic. I'm going to backup the Vanatronic 10,001, and you can pick the target location. And then this is a bit strange. I had to get used to this, because normally you would expect that you can put in a certain time that a backup will start. But in this case you are creating a maintenance window, so there are not any backups created during this maintenance window. But if you want to use a specific time, the only thing you can do is clear all the backup times, and then say, for instance, at 2 o'clock every day I want to create a backup. So you are creating a window of 1 hour, and you have to trust that the backup will start at the beginning of the hour. When I put next, it also will warn me that I have created a backup window of 1 hour starting at 2 o'clock. But when a lot of virtual machines are being backupped, there is a situation where the backup can take longer and the virtual machines are not backupped. So you have to click next, and then click no to continue. Okay. Retention policy, how many backups are created, and in the end you have created your backup job, and the Vanatronic will be backupped at 2 o'clock. Oh, it's nearly 2 o'clock, in about 7 minutes. So once you have created a backup, you can also restore a backup, and there are two possibilities for restoring a backup. You can restore a complete backup, and you can also restore an individual file from a backup that was already taken. So when I'm going to restore, I can choose to restore this machine, and I already have taken 2 backups from this machine, and I can put the vmdk file on the original location or another location. There's also another possibility, and the other possibility is to run the Windows File Level Restore client. And the Windows File Level Restore client is a packaged application, and when you are running this on your desktop, it will create a small runtime environment, and the runtime environment will be launching the application. So you can do 2 things. You can provide this executable to the end user, and the end user can run it from his own virtual machine and then retrieve his own files. But you can also use the advanced mode, and in the advanced mode you are able to restore files from every virtual machine. So you don't have to be in the virtual machine that was backupped. So I'm going to try to log on to my vCenter server and to the data recovery appliance, and what you see here is that it's showing which restore points are already available, and I can pick one of those restore points. And the nice thing is that you can mount a restore point from the past, and after mounting a restore point, the directory will become available in the root of your machine. In this case it's my vCenter server. Here it is, and you can see that the C drive of my Windows XP machine is accessible, and I can copy files from this mounted backup. Okay, so let's take a look at what was happening at our ESX environment. I have created a second data recovery appliance. It's imported through OVF, and when I'm going to the console I will see it boot, and after the initial boot you have to configure you have to configure the virtual machine with an IP address and a DNS name and a gateway and a host name, and then you can register the appliance in your vCenter server after installing the plugin, and then you can use multiple data recovery virtual appliances to create backups. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Eric Sloef is signing off, and I will be back soon. Bye bye.